You're watching Global News Morning.
Right, Dallas on a roll. Most kids should be off to school by this time of the morning, but what do they have in their lunchbox? We're going to have some tips on how to pack a healthy lunch with nutritious snacks. That's next.
Oh, the packing of the school lunches, difficult under ideal conditions. Throw in COVID, and things get even tougher. Registered dietitian Andrea Hallwigner's here. Tips on how to pack a healthy lunch your kids will actually eat. We need reminders of this, Andrea, because it gets to be a bit of a grind, doesn't it?
It does. As a mom myself, I know the dreaded task of packing school lunches, but the key is having a little fun with it. And I think I've got some good visuals and some good ideas that'll inspire you and get your kids a little more excited to eat this lunch that you pack them.
I love that lunch kit, first of all. Let's start with you like breakfast for lunch.
Yeah, I always kind of think about three themes. So breakfast, bentos, and balls, so bite-sized balls. So we're going to talk a little bit about all three of those. So if we start off with thinking about sort of a breakfast sort of theme, if you think of what I've got in the thermos here, if you slice up some leftover waffles that you've cooked up on the weekend, I'd intentionally make double batches, put them in the freezer so they're ready to go, cook up some breakfast sausages, slice those into little pieces, little drizzle of maple syrup. This is like a total fan favorite for my son, and I bet your kids might like it as well. Put a little side of some fruits and veggies there, and lunch is ready. So that's lunch number one.
Oh, I like it. Now, let's talk about lunch number two. You're a fan of setting out a few choices, so the parent controls the sort of the bigger choice of 1, 2, or 3. Then the kid can make the final choice.
Yes, so I love empowering kids to have some choice in what's going in lunch, but the key is if you ask them, hey, what do you want for lunch? They're probably going to list the same 2 or 3 foods, and they're probably going to miss entire categories such as protein that might be really important for their brain and their focus. So what you want to do is frame the choice. 3 things for balance: some grains or starches, a source of protein, some fruits or veggies. Give them a couple of options, not too many, because then we get paralyzed by choice. And then we're good to go. So lunch number 2 works really great, which is the Bento Box Theme. Always one of my son's favorite sort of concepts. What I've got in this one is some little mini whole wheat pita breads, some hummus, some peas that he's just going to shell and eat right raw, and some cubes of cheese, and then a fruit on the side. So this works really well. The other thing you can do with the fruit that works very well, if your kids don't do well with whole pieces of fruit, slice it up, put it in a really good sealable container or a mason jar, and put a little splash of juice on top so that it's more like a homemade fruit cocktail, and that will prevent the fruit from drowning. And most kids think this is way more cool than just the fruit alone.
Oh, I'm totally thinking it's way more cool. I'm going home to get some mason jars for myself. I love that idea. Let's move on to the ball category. So the tiny munchable category. Getting kids involved is going to mean more success.
You bet. So absolutely. Any kind of like bite-sized ball theme is always popular with kids for finger foods. So I'm thinking of things like I've got the homemade nut-free energy balls here. If you'd like a copy of that recipe, it's very popular. We've got it up on my blog, along with 26 different ideas for kids' lunches. So you can get that at healthstandnutrition.com. But if, other ball kind of themes, of course, you can do meatballs. Serve them hot or cold. A lot of kids will eat them either way. If you're a vegetarian family, go with falafels. Make them little mini falafel balls so they're bite-sized little pieces. Or again, I've got a great recipe for what's called a bean croquette on my website. Also great either hot in a thermos or small as like a little tiny thing you can eat with a toothpick, dipped into a little ranch or sour cream cilantro dressing. And again, just have some fun with this. Finger foods, we all love them.
I remember the days when Avery would come home and she would have eaten exactly 6 blueberries for lunch, and that would have been it. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to pass out. She's starving. Some days it just happens, Andrea.
It does. And I'm certainly not immune to that. Sometimes it doesn't matter how awesome your lunch is, and you can pack their favorite foods, and it just comes home not eaten. And so my first word of advice as a parent and a dietitian is don't fret if this occasionally happens. We expect that with kids. They get distracted, and they're going to have these kind of days. We all have different intuitive hunger patterns as well. However, if this is happening day after day, then yes, I think maybe checking in with your school. This is so important to get kids nourished with good food coming into those little brains. We know from research it's so important from a concentration, retention, ability to learn. And of course, we don't want them coming home hangry or having anxiety because they're just underfueled.
Absolutely. Okay. Healthstandnutrition.com. Andrea's got a ton of healthy lunch ideas. Those little peanut-free protein balls sound really interesting. Check out her website for more info. Thanks, Andrea.
Thanks so much for having me.
Coming up, another delay.